fucked up there. It might be hurt. Are you kidding me, man? You gotta stop it. Hey, you in there? Anybody in there? You okay? You sure? Alright, they sound like they're okay. Yeah, they said they were okay. Somebody else stopped too, but thanks. Hey, I'm not gonna call it in, but if you need to get some help, get out of here, we can help you, man. Yeah, they didn't hit that hard, but shit. I thought the other car was moving on, ignoring them. Yeah. Oh shit. This is time for the bars to close. Maybe that's what happened. Yeah. Maybe that's what happened. Shit. Hey. That's a damn good night, man. Jesus Christ. I thought something was gonna be fucked up in that crash. Whew. Batting 1,000. Last time I ran up on something I thought was going to be an ugly scene, it was Susan Cope yelling for help. I thought she was another rape victim. She was just strung out from being up 3 days in the alcove of the Broadway Christian Church. That's how I ended up taking her into my house. And, wow. Man. Heartbreaking. Poor lady shouldn't be out. She had bad scoliosis and other problems. And as soon as I would give her anything, she would take it to the dope man. There wasn't honesty in her. There was also an obvious change in her. She wasn't a criminal any longer. And she didn't steal anything. She just took the things that I told her not to take off and trade or sell. That's what she did. The last time I went to get her, she was at the mission. I would see her out, take her in the middle of rain, spend 2 or 3 hours carrying her to my house, slowly getting her there. First night I met her, it took 7 hours for me to get to my house. broke down weeping, man. Thought I'd never get that poor lady there. Finally got her there, scraped up enough for an Uber ride. And the last time she was at the mission and using a walker and had no shoes. She had these bright red shoes. And she was in her socks. I didn't have any wheels. I was going to pack her up to my house, a mile and a half or so away. Piggyback if I had to, like the first night. She told me that someone stole her shoes at the mission. I pretty much believed it, but looking back, I'm pretty sure she probably traded it for drugs. She was just so helpless. It was heartbreaking, but there was she was worthy of help. It was heartbreaking. I need to reach out and see what's up with her, but it's like all my being, my total being is consumed around her. I get nothing of mine done. Don't even get her things done. In the 2 months or so I had her there, in and out 4 or 5 times, we didn't even get her. She had a Social Security check, I guess. I believe she did too. But she wouldn't even, I couldn't even focus on that, man. It was so much of a distraction. She wanted to hit the streets, and I couldn't deal with that because she shouldn't be out walking, especially getting cold. And she was lucky to have someone who, right down here is where I found her, right around the corner, the Broadway Christian Church, right over there. Let's see, it was down, it's in this area. And yeah, down there, Broadway, that would be over there. About a block down and a block east. And she should feel lucky to have someone who wanted her to stay in. I even considered a lot of things like trying to help her find companionship and even meet guys if it's done the right way, but not bring them in until I meet them elsewhere. Because she had a bad habit of being with bad people. And then some, like the boyfriend of hers, this Tracy guy, you know, he had a Class A child molesting, but I don't necessarily judge on that. And, you know, there are, I believe, it's well over 15% of people who are innocent, and another 15 to 20% or more shouldn't be convicted of the crimes they're incarcerated for, like weed or poverty. There are a lot of guys called deadbeat dads who can't function because of the separation from their kids. It's a draconian system if it's juggled wrongly with the wrong variables, the wrong way. But more so with the sex crimes, probably 25 to 30% of those are innocent. You never know who, they all claim that, even the guilty ones. But you know, I was even going to try to consider checking him out, helping her get a place and keeping an eye on her, and mandate that she bank at least 2/3 or 3/4 of her check while she's there and not be able to spend it, not in my name, but have a case manager control it or someone else that she and I agree on. I told her if she gets 1,000 and she could bank 666 and keep 333, have about $40 a week spending money. She'd have all her expenses taken care of. With me, should have gotten her food stamps too, but man, we were so focused on her running the streets, and she'd disappear and come back on those dope runs or whatever. And I told her also she could have 150 or so a month for a big item that she wants to buy or needs to buy. Sit down and talk to a group of friends like me, a case manager, another professional, and acquire a couple of friends who have reliable sobriety and sensibility. And maybe 8 times a year she would spend that 150 or so on a big item like a wheelchair, a bed, or something like that. Maybe 4 times a year she wouldn't, and that money could go back in the till. So she'd actually be saving over $700 a month average, which would be over $8,000 a year. And I told her there's a way we could take just $400, 100 from the first 4 checks, and then put it into flipping some devices that have a certain ability to sell them and earn profit. And within 2 years' time, she would average about 10,000 each year, and that could mean she'd have 20 grand, 7,500 to 12,500 on a down payment on a house. Probably more like 10,000. To keep 10 in savings for emergency payments. And every month she might have a house with a payment of 600, and then the remaining 400 to 200 go into savings under someone who still keeps an eye on her, and then someone could get hired to 20 or 25 hours a week or a week paid to help take care of her, and a professional in-home nurse if she needs it. But someone who could basically be her boss and not let her control her own money, but everything is transparent, everything is accounted for, and if she, like some people think, someone who actually is losing money and time caring for her is ripping her off, then it's presented there. And I figured with an average of maybe 50 a week spending money, she couldn't get in much trouble. And that would prevent the vultures from swooping on her also. And find somebody that would live long term with her and get paid, to take care of her and get free rent. And she could have a place and be paying on it every week. Yeah, it's just an idea. I mean, it could happen with some of these people who don't have, they have a check, but they don't have anyone to keep them from losing it or from being ripped off or wasting it. It's a shame. It's awful. And there's so many people out there that don't care unless someone like she has some money. I can't say that the guy that was with her was like that, but she just didn't have a good bearing on life. And around the corner was where I found her, and it broke my heart to deal with her, man. I didn't even have her on food stamps, didn't even get her check going again. And I was trying to get her to agree to have it cemented before she got her check back that we could have someone, if a case manager, if she could agree and admit in writing, hey, I am not a good person to take care of my own money. I need this, overseen by someone else. And I'm not talking about me, which she said that was fine, like other people say. And I say, no, I want to have the ability to see that money at any time, to know that you're not spending it. And of course, if there's an emergency, then you could vote or what have you. Basically, 2/3 of it gets saved. So I'm figuring she might have gotten 1,000 or 1,100, I think she said. That's close to 700 a month. The remaining 300 or so gets divvied up into spending money every week, which isn't much. With someone like her, might even break it down every 2 weeks, like $25 twice a week. That's probably best, to tell the truth. And then there would be 150 or 175 once a month for a sit down with her peers to vote on a big ticket item that she wants. I and her case manager and another couple of friends, trustworthy, we could find, might recommend something, but she could choose, And if she wants something that's going to cost $300 to $400, well, save up 2 months, She needed a wheelchair, and I figured 2 of those. And I wanted to develop her a social circle and a lot of things, you know. I really wrap my world around my roommates when I find them, and it's really difficult because you think that you're going to be, it's a permanent investment, you think. It ends up not being the case. And then, like with her, I wonder if she's okay. She came out and admitted to me what I know about every female I meet in the street. Some of them are even like afraid of me or any other male because you know, 85% of them, I assume, have been raped. And it's not guesswork, man. It's not guesswork. I've come upon it actually a couple times, and that's what I thought. She was a rape victim. It scared the hell out of me because I worry if I erase those guys, it would be too easy to do that. And then, you know, I don't know if someone who can do that is redeemable or not, but it matters what the system would think of me if I erase one of them. And, God, she just, well, I gave her like, 6 devices. One of them worked, but it wouldn't have sold for $5. It was taped up. And when she first came in, I gave her 3, and I told her she could use these 2 in and out. And they were new, but really cheap. One may have sold for 80 or 90. The other one may have sold for 40, maybe 50, if lucky. But there was another one that would have sold maybe 125 or 130, worth a little more. She takes that one, and it comes back the next day it's broken. I think that she broke it on the way to the dope man, or she took it to the dope man. They wouldn't buy it because it was locked. And, you know, it's a shame. She goes into the hospital thinking I tried to get rid of her, which wasn't the case. She was confused. We walked up to visit her all that way. She told me one day she's getting released. She wasn't. I walked all that way. And then another time, I talked her into going to the hospital because she couldn't walk. She was in bad shape. And she was getting pissed at a pharmacy, and a cop was really cool, man, really nice. He brought her home. He was just a real sweet guy. And, you know, she thought she was in bad shape, and I had to empty her pot and stuff. She had to go in the restroom. I told her that's okay, just, you know, I want to have time to wake up when I wake up. That didn't bother me as bad as, you know, getting up and she's gone and not knowing where the hell she is when I invested this time in her. And then I'm going to find her like a week or 2 later, out sleeping under one of these bridges, literally. And in the rain, having to spend 2 or 3 hours to get home to my house when it should take 20 to 30 minute walk. And the promise is she's going to stay in. She's not going to go out this time. I was even going to find her activities like a church group to pick her up. And some people online we could find for her. And I wanted to go try to find my girls. And I wanted to have someone who would move in and, you know, oversee her. And have her get her check back before I left. And solidified with a what do they call it, a payee, somebody who can control and prevent her from spending much of it. And she, you know, I figured if she made an agreement, even if we had to take it to court or something, we could find some way to solidify that money without her being able to touch it unless there's emergency, without me having to control it, because I didn't want to have that name calling shit. We helped some people on the street before. We used to help them get free or discounted things that they could sell, like phones, and they were real cheap phones. You are allowed to sell the free ones. They come from the company, not the government benefit. The data plan is what you're not supposed to sell unless you add money to it or unless you get an extra one working for the company. But the devices, it is wise to sell them because they're cheap. They easily get lost, stolen, water damaged, or broken. So we would get during ACP benefit. At that time, there were 4 companies which gave free phones if you had used the Lifeline benefit alone. It was Terracom, American Assistance, SafeLink, and Assurance of the companies that covered this zip code. And we wouldn't do the SafeLink. We would wait until we had both benefits together later because you would guarantee getting a better phone that way. They had some of the best phones, better than AirTalk, which is what people thought most of the best phones came from. And they did have some great phones here and there. We would do the same with AirTalk. We wouldn't use one benefit. There were several companies which would give a free phone for ACP used by itself. So we would get them 6 or 7 free phones, sell them for an average of 60, I think it was, on eBay, 60, 65 on eBay or 66. Then use the money. The agreement was if we got 300 to 4 or 450, we get them at least 2 very good devices. Like if some of them didn't want a big 10-inch rugged tablet, we get them a 7-inch or 8-inch rugged tablet, or 2 rugged smartphones with harnesses, and they were supposed to sit down and learn how to do 3 to 5 layers of anti-theft so they could find them. Out of 50-some people, like 5 of them were worth it. The other ones, as soon as they knew we were getting money out of something they were getting free, they started calling us names and all the tactics to try to get the money for dope. They wouldn't have had them if they wouldn't have known if we wouldn't have told them. And the agreement was in the beginning, we get to control it, they get to see where it goes, and they don't touch it until the end if there's money left over, which there usually was. At the least like 25 or 30, and at the most 60 to 75, because we would spend most of it on at least 2 good devices. And some people got 3. One girl, man, she had I think it was we got her 2 rugged tablets, an Oukatel, whatever, and a Hot Wave R6 Ultra, which at the time I thought was the coolest for the dollar. It wasn't the best rugged 10-inch, but it was close. It was much cheaper than the Blackview Oscal Spider 8 rugged 10-inch. And you got her a BV 8800 or LG V60, something like that. LG Velvet is brand new one, although it's a couple 3 years old. And like 3 times someone tried to steal her tablet, and we showed her how to use Google Map app timeline and find my device and other tactics. And man, they would try. It made you think, why in the hell am I wasting time? But you know, someone out there sooner or later deserves the help, and they're vulnerable, and you should help them. God damn it, you should. And we'd encounter that about every 8 or 10 people, I guess. Well, with Susan, I don't know. In a way, I feel fortunate that I haven't encountered her again, but it's heartbreaking, man. I'm like vulnerable. I'm the one that's vulnerable. You know, I get nothing done, and it breaks my heart, man. I went home and wept. First night I met her, got her to the ER. I called the ER. I called ER twice when I went home, told them, yes, I will be back there, make sure she knows. I took her some peanut butter soup, cream of wheat with peanut butter and good stuff in it. And when I was trying to get her out of there, she couldn't walk. And crutches they gave her were too short. They did give her some, though. And I had to carry her. It was like several hours before we got to my house, a mile away, if that. I had to pack her over half the way, finally get a Uber ride. It was just sad. There were some sad moments, like she'd been up 3 days. She was sleeping on this stone area by the bridge on Sherman. Came home and thought I wasn't ever going to get her there, and I wept. I'm like, damn it, I'm not giving up on this. I got her there with this Uber guy, scraped up some money, scraped up some more, you know. Got her there. Wouldn't have thought of that myself, but I loved her. You know, you love family. You know, she's worn out. She's had a lot of weather on her in just a year or so. You can tell from older pictures that aren't that old, and it's heartbreaking. You just can't do that again. But I got no choice when I encounter someone like that. It's not a choice. It's heartbreaking. More people should do a little. These people have been losing their stamps. You know, people say, well, here's some help. Here's where you can get. Well, somebody, yeah, that helps. But like these women, the lady who has 8 kids, all of her stamps are stolen, or this woman who posted recently taking care of her grandkids. What they could use is, 4 or 5 people saying, yeah, I got $20. I will get you 4 gallons of milk. Let's find someone that'll get you maybe, 6 pounds of burger, whatever. Somebody else, a bunch of bread, and people can help. Don't know how they were stealing, but they did it. They did it. And I think a lot of them, the stores where they were ripped off here, I don't know if they have to have access to the machines or what.